Kicking off at number 10 is The Legend of Nayuta Boundless Trails, an action JRPG from Falcom, the studio behind Trails and Ys. This one has quite a weird history because it came out in 2012 on PSP in Japan and didn't get a proper English release until 2022, 10 years later. So even people who think of themselves as Falcom fans often have no clue it exists. I only found out because I went digging and searching, and yeah, I'm glad I did. So what I like most about this game is how clean and fast the combat feels. You're running around real-time areas, chaining melee combos with magic, and the movement is genuinely satisfying to me. It's got this snappy quality I want from an action combat game. There's a seasonal system where the world physically changes between spring, summer, autumn, and winter, and I thought that was a clever touch in this game because it actually changes the enemies and the layouts, so revisiting areas never felt like a chore to me, and like backtracking is quite fun. The other thing I love about this game is that it's completely self-contained. You don't need to have played a single other Falcom games, which is rare for this studio because their trail games is always, interconnected somehow. But Nayuta is the one that I can hand to someone and like, just play this game, you will not get overwhelmed or anything like that. So yeah, it is a focused 20 to maybe 25 hours focused game and doesn't overstay its welcome, so I like it. But I think my only complaint is that it's way too simple compared to like other Falcom's games, The story is quite straightforward and has a lighter in tone, and if you come in wanting one of those like massive JRPG story, this is not it. But it goes on sale fairly often, and when it does, just buy it, man. And yeah, it is a pretty fun action combat JRPG. In number 9, it is Astria Ascending, a turn-based JRPG with some of the most gorgeous hand-drawn art I've ever seen in a game this size. Every character, every enemy, every background is hand-drawn. And honestly, it kinda surprised me. When this game is in motion, it looks like a playable concept art. I would recommend it on the visual alone, and I don't usually say that too often. You control a party of 8 in a world that's falling apart, and the story goes to some surprisingly heavy places about duty and dying. What I enjoyed most mechanically is the job system, which lets you mix and match classes across your party, so I got a lot of freedom to build my team, so I think that is really nice. And there's a focus mechanic where you stack up points, then unleash them to break enemies for bigger damage, and I like that a lot because deciding when to build and when to spend kept me actually thinking in fights instead of just zoning out in most turn-based games, right? There's also a card mini game in here that's weirdly addictive, like Queen's Blood in Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. But the thing here is that the story starts pretty strong and the world grabbed my curiosity, but a bunch of characters later feels rushed, so there's no like character development in a way. And I actually wanted to meet all the characters and care about them, but the game just wouldn't give them time or do anything for their well-being, But that's pretty much it. That's just my complaint about this game. I mean, it is an indie game. It has a budget price on it, and it is constantly on sale for what you pay. I think the content and the sheer quality of that, it's a good game. It justifies the game itself. So yeah, grab it when it is on sale, and you will have a ton of fun playing this game. Valkyrie Elysium. Now this one is an action JRPG and a spin-off of the Valkyrie Profile series. It came out in 2022 and got completely buried under everything else around it, which I think is quite a shame because it took a rougher reception than I reckon it deserves, because the combat itself, man, it's good. I mean, in this game you are a Valkyrie fighting through a Norse-inspired world, and the core is chaining attacks between your main character and summonable thingy, which are the spirit allies you unlock as you go. Each has a different element, and the rhythm of weaving my own combos with calling in the right ally at the right moment is quite fun. It is really fun. It is unique. It is a game trying to be its own game. And there is a hook and pull traversal move too that makes getting around feels fast and I don't know, like just fast and responsive. I don't know how to explain it, and I like it a lot. So when the combat is flowing, I had a properly good time with it. It's some of the most fun pure action I've gotten out of a mid-budget JRPG, and the bosses looks pretty good and have this sense of scale that I freaking love, man. Now the honest part is, the story is the weakest in the whole Valkyrie series, and yeah, it's just disappointing. It is short, it doesn't do nearly enough with its Norse setup, and if you come off from Valkyrie Profile 2 expecting that level of storytelling like maybe half of us did, you're going to be disappointed. The narrative is functional at best. I played this for the combat, full stop. And I think you should go in knowing that's the deal, basically. Just play for the combat. In full price, this game is no, it is not recommended. But it is on sale regularly, so yeah, I mean, grab it while it is on sale. I think it is a purely fun Square Enix game, like a AA Square Enix game. And yeah, it's just pure fun, but it's not like the best of the best. So yeah, get it on sale. I do recommend it. It is fun playing. Next is obviously Star Ocean the Second R. This one is a full remake of the 1998 PS1 classic, and one of the best value JRPGs I think you can buy right now. The original was loved for a few specific things, and the remake keeps all of them while fixing nearly everything that aged badly in the previous game. First, the combat is in real-time action, which was a big deal in 1998 when everything else was turn-based, and the remake rebalances it so it feels great today. Man, I just don't know how to explain it. I had a blast with this game. Second, and this is a bit I love most, there's this thing called private action system, where between story beats you split off and have one-on-one conversations with your party members, and those shape your relationships and even change which ending you get. I think it's one of the best relationship systems in the entire genre, and I'm still annoyed. Why does this system is not implemented in modern games? Because it's good. It's really good. It is shaping your character. Third, two playable protagonists with different perspectives, which gave me a real reason to replay it, and I rarely replay anything. And I fucking love a replayable game. And the post-game content is huge, man. There's a Colosseum, optional super bosses that absolutely, wrecked me the first time I encounter it, and an item creation system deep enough that, you can broke the game once you, sink time into it. For a JRPG at this price, the amount of stuff to do is honestly ridiculous, and as someone who likes to 100% these kind of games, man, I was in heaven. The one thing that I will flag that it hasn't fully aged out is the pacing in the first half, which is slower than it needs to be and took a while to grab people to the story. I mean, you should push through it because the back half and the post-game content are where I think this game earns its reputation, and for me, it justifies the price on sale. Yeah, on sale. Honestly, just buy it, man. I think it's one of the most packed content JRPGs out there at this price, but it is also, often on sale. So think about it. If it is on sale, I think you will have a blast playing this game. Number 6 is Monarch, a turn-based JRPG made by some of the people behind the early Shin Megami Tensei games, and you can feel that degree all over this game. The setup puts you in a school sealed off from the outside world by supernatural barrier. Oh my god, this is like Persona 2 and 1 all over again, honestly. And with a strange madness spreading through the students. And what I love is that you form a pact with a being called Monarch, which grants you serious power, but using it raises your ego stat and push your ego too high and you lose control of your character entirely, sending them berserk. So every fight became this balancing act for me. I wanted to, to have that power to win, but I was also constantly watching how close I was pushing myself to the edge. And I thought that tension was quite brilliant in a battle system like this, because the battle system uses free positioning, so where I stood and how I group enemies for area attacks actually mattered, which I appreciated. The tone is dark, and I mean dark in the best way ever. It's not edgy, guys. It's just dark, alright? The story goes to some uncomfortable places with its characters, and it commits to it instead of flinching it, and I respected that for it. There's also a maturity content here, which I don't see often, and that's pretty much it. That's good, right? But the complaint is that it is the budget, right? The environments get reused a lot, the school corridors started to blur together for me, and the production values are clearly limited. If you can look past that, and I could, because I play this kind of game for systems and the atmosphere, there's a lot to love here. And I don't know, I just enjoy the game most of the time. And it is always on sale, and at half the price, I mean, that's a no-brainer. Especially if you are an SMT fan, I mean, come on, this game is something you will look forward to. At number 5, Crystar, an action JRPG where you play as a girl who accidentally kills her own sister and makes a deal with demons to bring her back. I mean, it came out in 2019 and it's one of the most emotionally heavy games I've played in the whole genre. And that's saying something coming off a list with some heavy hitters already. Now, the mechanic that makes it stand out to me is the tier system. Your character literally cries in cutscenes and in battles, and those tiers are what you use to power up your gear and abilities. I know it sounds strange, but in practice, I thought it tied to the mechanics straight into the emotional core in a way I've never seen in another video game. And the more I engage with it, what these characters were going through, the more the system opened up. It's a bold swing and I think it works. You fight through this, purgatory-like afterlife in fast hack and slash combat, and I'll be straight, the combat is just too basic. There's like no challenge at all, but it is still pretty good for an action game. Like, it is responsive and it does the job. The real reason I'm putting this on the list is because of the story and the atmosphere, and on that front, it is absolutely delivered. The soundtrack in particular is haunting and stuck with me after a long time. It's so good. My honest downside is the budget, obviously, because the environments are quite small, they are quite repetitive, and I was fighting through the same kinds of areas more than once. I mean, if combat depth is your main thing, you'll be bored immediately. This is a small game in scope, no getting around it, but what it set out to do, like tell a heavy personal story, it did better for me than games with 10 times the bigger budget, Also, it goes on sale often. If you can handle a genuinely heavy story in a smaller package and you don't need cutting-edge production, I think, this is worth a grab, and I'm quite sure that it will stuck with you. So buy this game, try it out. If you don't like it, just refund it. And in number 4, it is Chain Echoes, an indie turn-based JRPG made almost entirely by one person, and I want you to hold on to that fact for the whole time I'm discussing this video, because what's here is absurd for a solo project. This is one of the most complete feeling JRPGs I have ever played in years, full stop, and it came out in 2022 as a love letter to the 16-bit era done with a modern gaming style. Yeah, the combat is built around an overdrive system and I think it is brilliant. There's a gauge you need to keep in an optimal zone during fights. Play too aggressively and you overheat, your attacks weaken and you are left exposed. Play too cautiously and you are leaving damage on the table. So every single fight became about reading the situation and adjusting for me, which meant I was actually engaged instead of mashing attack and watching numbers and of course QTs, Some of the turn-based JRPGs right about now, the most popular one at least, it has QTEs, right? So yeah, I don't really like that. I like my turn-based to be turn-based. Come on, guys. And it is the kind of system that kept even random encounters quite interesting, and I can count on one hand the turn-based games that manage that. The scope blew me away too. The story spans multiple countries with a proper political plot, and the party is large and the characters actually get developed, and there are mechs in this game. Yeah, you pilot giant mechs in combat alongside the on-foot fighting, and switching between the two added a whole layer of the gameplay again. There is 35 to 40 hours into this game and I genuinely struggled to find filler. Like, every dungeon and area is, it felt deliberately built. No padding, no busy work, just a tightly made adventure from start to finish. And as someone who gets impatient with bloated games sometimes, I cannot tell you how refreshing that was. If I'm reaching for a complaint, like if I have to nitpick this game, is that the tone wobbles a bit, like the story swings from lighthearted to very dark and back to back, and the transitions aren't always so smooth. A couple of things caught me off guard, but it is just minor things in what's otherwise a fantastic game. And honestly, I'd rather a game swing big with its tone than play it safe, so I think this is also quite a good thing. The base price is, you already know, it is like $20, right? No DLC, no special editions, no nothing. It's just one whole game. And sometimes it goes on sale, but it's not that much. But again, this is just worth every penny. And I think if you like JRPG, you will like this a lot more. Well, I'm comparing this game to Sea of Stars. Yeah, I think you will like this game a lot more than Sea of Stars. At number 3, it is Valkyria Chronicles. Yes, an old tactical JRPG set in a fictional World War II. And it's one of the best games in its genre that I think most people skip purely because the series never got the attention it deserved. If you like strategy and you have never touched this game, god damn it, I am quite jealous because, man, you get to play this game fresh. The combat is unlike most of anything else, and it's why I love it. It mixes this real-time movement with turn-based strategy through a system called Blitz. On your turn, you pick a unit, then directly control them in third person as they move across the field. Aiming and firing yourself. Yes! You get to fire in a turn-based game? Like, what the hell? But here's the key. Enemies fire on you in real time as well, so yeah, as you move, they're gonna fire, so charging across open grounds gets your soldiers torn apart. I had to use cover, flank carefully, think about every meter this game is, I don't know, moving I guess, and pulling off a perfectly executed flank that won me a map felt quite brilliant. It's just so satisfying and rewarding for a tactics game. And the hand-drawn watercolor art makes the whole thing look like a moving painting. It is beautiful. And I think it is quite timeless, so even if you play it right now, this game still holds up to that degree. I mean, the story follows Squad through a brutal campaign, and it doesn't shy from the cost of war. The characters are really well written. The bonds between the core group develop naturally for me across the campaign, so it is nice. And a few of the story chapters, man, they are good, they are hitting hard. And there's about 40 to 50 hours gameplay here, and of course with the mission DLC plus a skirmish mode, and I happily put the time in. And it's just so good. This game is so addicting. My honest catch is that it can feel slow if you are not already into the genre. The early chapters are quite heavy on tutorials, and the pacing takes a while to open up and trust you with this harder, more interesting maps. And I'll admit, the opening tested my patience quite a bit because when I first booted up this game, it was so fucking slow. I almost dropped the game because this was way back in the PS3 era, right? So I played this on my PS3, I tried it. I mean, it's a little bit slow, blah, 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 blah. People do recommend it. But at the time, I thought it wasn't for me. But goddamn, I pushed through, and yeah, I recommend it every time. People asking me, what is the recommended JRPG? This game, hands down. Number 2, it is Eiyuden Chronicle 100 Heroes. I like this game a lot because this is the spiritual successor to Suikoden, made by the original Suikoden team. And if you know Suikoden, you already get why this is sitting so high for me. If you don't, a quick version of this is Suikoden was a beloved PS1 era series built on a few standout ideas, and Eiyuden brings all of them back with a modern engine and of course modern gameplay. The headline is that you recruit over 100 characters. Yeah, you can recruit 100 characters-ish, and these aren't just names on a roster. Each has their own reason for joining, their own personality, and loads are playable in combat. Hunting them all down across the world was a huge part of appeal for me, exactly the kind of completionist rabbit hole I live for. Alongside that, you build your own base of operations, like a town that physically grows with new shops and facilities and characters as you progress. And watching my headquarters go from an empty plot like that to a bustling hub full of people, man, it was genuinely satisfying and rewarding, obviously. The combat is a 6-person party with front and back rows, rune magic, and combo attacks between characters who have relationships, plus large-scale war battles that play like a mini strategy game and one-on-one duels. I love how much variety there was in how the game even presents combat. It kept things fresh across a long run time, because man, there is a lot of gameplay in this game, maybe like 60 to 100 hours if you want to go for the complete route. The only complaint that I have is basically just the pacing issues, particularly in the second act where things drag a bit for me before the finale picked back up. And with over 100 recruits, some of them are quite underdeveloped. They join with a line of dialogue and that's it, which is quite a shame, but I know it is quite hard to do like 100 characters development, right? I don't think that's really realistic, so it is what it is. I don't mind it at all. Buying this game at full price, kinda, it's not worth it, alright? Just wait for it on sale, maybe like 40% or even 30%, and then you will get your money's worth, in my opinion, okay? But you do you, because money is yours and you can do whatever you want. But I do recommend to play this game because it is really good, especially if you love Suikoden in the PS1 era. And in my number 1 is of course Soul Nomad and the World Eaters. Yes, this is my number 1 hidden gem JRPG, and I doubt most of you have even heard of this one. Because of that, it is exactly why this game is sitting in my number 1. This is a strategy RPG from Nippon Ichi, the studio behind this Gaia, and it came out on the PS2 way back in 2007. It almost got no attention at all. It's been overshadowed by this Gaia for nearly decades, and I think that's one of the biggest crimes in this whole genre, because I fucking love this game. I want to play it every day. I wish they are making Soul Nomad too. So here's what's up. You play as this protagonist, right? You share your body with this like anti-hero called Gig. By the way, Gig is voiced by Yuri Lowenthal, who voiced Spider-Man, and he is absolutely doing an amazing job in this game too. So he is a genocidal god of destructions called a World Eater, and he is one of the best written villains I've ever come across in any JRPG. He is foul-mouthed, he is hilarious, he is genuinely menacing, and the back and forth between him and your protagonist carried the entire game for me. The writing is good, and it is also pretty dark at times, not like this Gaia dark, okay, but different kind of dark. And it is properly funny in a way I did not expect going in. Like, Gig alone, man, whew, the character for Gig is just so spot on. Also, the combat is where it gets clever. Instead of moving individual units around like a normal grid-based, strategy RPGs, you organize your army into squads, and each squad is its own little formation of up to 9 characters arranged on a tactical room. When 2 squads clash, everyone in the formation acts based on where you have placed them. So, building the room layout, putting your tanks up front and your mages safe in the back became this really satisfying puzzle, and what works and what doesn't work. So I think it is really good. It is a different take on the genre, and I wish more games had stolen this idea, because I don't know, I think it's just so good, man. The idea behind this is so good. And when you pair up some characters, they get this like combo that you can use, in this formation lineup. It is so fun. Also, this game has 2 protagonists, the guy and the girl, so you need to play it twice. And also you have this brutal optional path called the Demon Path that completely changes the story and lets you go full villain, which is amazing. But the thing about this game, even in 2026, this game is still expensive, man. It is already on Steam right now, but it is just so expensive for like a 20-year-old game, like insane. So if you can get this on sale and get this pretty cheap, or if you want to emulate this on the PlayStation 2, be my guest, because this game for a 20-year-old game is way too expensive. But I still recommend it because this game is so much fun to play. And the character writing, the character development, the story, everything is just so spot on. I like it. It doesn't go with this weird pacing. It's just a mystery all around that you wanna know more about each individual characters and where the story is going. It's just so fun. So yeah, Soul Nomad, it is such a hidden gem, and I want you guys to play this one. Hopefully this will bring players to this game and people talk more about this game. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys again in the next one. Bye guys.